Flock is scrambling to respond to public outcry as criticism of the company's license plate cameras gains momentum in Duluth and all across the country. Northern News Now Sophia Lauber is hearing from company leaders and concerned residents tonight. Sophia, it sounds like some changes are on the way here.
That's right, Dan. Flock is rolling out a handful of new security, privacy, and transparency policies as some cities are canceling their contracts with the company due to public pushback. Duluth police announced this week that they are not renewing their contract with Flock. That announcement came just a day after concerned residents made their voices heard at City Council. In June and July, 6 of the Duluth Police Department's 9 Flock cameras were destroyed or stolen, sending a clear message to city leaders.
People don't want these in their cities, and neither do we Duluthians. It's been proven time and time again that law enforcement entities have been using these anti-constitutional surveillance tools for nefarious reasons.
The automated license plate readers capture photos of every vehicle that comes by, recording their license plate and other details like color and model. Information that an AI algorithm then sorts into a nationwide database. Flock CEO Garrett Langley acknowledges it's a tool that can be misused.
We knew that abuse was a risk 9 years ago, which is why we mandated every customer had to have an audit log.
But with several reports recently of officers in other parts of the country abusing the system and using it to do things like track romantic partners, Flock is stepping up security. Customers will now be required to use an audit tool that flags abnormal search behavior.
But I can tell you it worked. You could see it in the headlines. We are finding bad cops and holding them accountable.
Law enforcement officers will also be required to input a case number to justify each search. And while Flock continues to reiterate their customers own the data they collect, for some, that reassurance isn't enough.
Not only can we not trust this department to use these appropriately, we also cannot trust the companies collecting the data to not sell our data to the highest bidder for whatever reason without our consent.
Duluth police declined an interview today. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Department has 10 Flock cameras and also did not respond to my request for an interview. Itasca County has access to 19. Their Sheriff Joe Dasovich tells me he feels Flock is a great tool for law enforcement, but he also understands public concern. His office is weighing the pros and cons and will decide soon if they'll continue using the cameras. Live in studio, Sophia Lauber, Northern News Now.